Hey guys, this is Danny Boy. This is Big Valleys on Nightmare. Big Valleys took me quite a bit of time. It wasn't as bad as Chasm, but it's really not hard to beat just like Chasm. Getting 5 skulls is a bit more difficult. Unlike Chasm, this one didn't frustrate me immensely. Chasm was much more about executing the strategy very well, or just passively, whereas Big Valleys is more about just figuring out the strategy. And the mistake I made for many attempts was really trying to hone it far away. Trying to do the strategy, trying to get 5 skulls really far down the lane, near the actual exit point for the Orcs. And that just, in my experience, does not work because you waste a lot of time waiting for Orcs to get to you, and it makes it extremely difficult to make par. Basically, every time I try doing it close to the exit point, I miss par by anywhere from 30 seconds or so to a minute, which is just totally unacceptable. If you're a minute missing par, then there's something just wrong with your strategy. So I tried using the low ceilings to set up haymaker traps down near the exit point. The hardest thing was just I was wasting a lot of time trying to kill the big enemies, the tough enemies. That was really my main issue. I was taking a lot of time to kill those, and just waiting around for the Orcs to get to me was also an issue. So I tried haymakers to stun them and just kill them that way, and it worked well, but it still wasn't fast enough. I tried auto ballistas to kill them, haymakers worked better. I tried the swinging maces, haymakers worked way better. It seems like haymakers are just all in all better than swinging maces. They can be more expensive or so. A swinging mace is 3 tiles for 1,500, a haymaker is 1 tile for 700, so it's quite a bit more expensive to set up 3 haymakers than just 1 swinging mace. But basically my strategy here was to block off the left and right side, set up a healing well next to me in case I took damage. Because I'm so close, it's very easy to take damage from crossbowmen or accidentally get hit by a sapper or a null or whatever, so I had a healing well set up. The first time I've actually really ever used one. It was definitely useful. It was a nice little buffer. And I set up grinders. Grinders are really powerful this time around. They were really powerful last time around, I just hadn't really used them. It seems like when they're fully upgraded, they don't jam very often, and they unjam so quick that I never even really noticed them being jammed to begin with. In addition to that, I filled up this central hallway with lots of brimstone traps, and just lots of brimstone traps further near their points as well. If you block off the right and left passages with some barricades, and they start off partially blocked off anyway, the enemies will run to the left, run to the right, circle around, and then go down the middle. So you can set up grinders on the walls that they'll run near when they're coming back towards the middle, and brimstone pits, traps, whatever, on those sides as well. And something that I definitely recommend is I chose to upgrade my barricades to make them very cheap for one, fully upgraded them in terms of cost, down to 600, and also gave them the unique upgrade to take reduced damage. And basically what I did was block off the left and right, the side passages, and I set up a dummy barricade forward of both of those blockades, essentially. So the sappers, when they did go after the barricades, they attacked the barricade closest to them on the left or right. So that way they just attacked barricades that didn't matter, that weren't actually preventing enemies from passing through, which worked really well. And it actually takes quite a few sappers to kill a fully upgraded, or rather just a wall upgraded so that it takes less damage from attacks, a reinforced wall or whatever it's called. And that's what I was doing right there. They did get past me just one time, which wasted some time catching up to them and whatever, but the entrances to the passage are all blocked off by barricades, so you do have that to start to give you some extra breathing room, which I used, but I could have had a better time if I didn't let that happen. And I used the fire bracelet, or I don't know what it's called, just the fire magic, firewall upgraded to stun enemies and to do more damage to deal with the heavy enemies. Worked really well. Got them caught up near grinders to take them down, along with the brimstone trap, so definitely helped. I used mana rage when I was low on mana to ensure that I could kill the heavy ogres and the elemental lords and whatever, so that worked really well. I had a scavenger trinket to help me get money because I couldn't really use coin forgers under this strategy. And I used a trap reset trinket as well to just make my, I don't know, grinders unjam faster. I don't even know if it really affects them. I don't think it affects brimstone pits at all. Brimstone pits, from what I've seen, have to just run their 5 charges if they're fully upgraded, and then they'll reset. You can't reset them with the trap reset trinket. Could be wrong, but that's just when I used it. That's what it seemed like. And other than that, I did have arrow walls, but I never really used them because the grinders were just straight up better. And cost really wasn't a problem on this map. I never really was strapped for cash, so I wouldn't have wanted to do this without the scavenger trinket, just because it helped me get brimstone traps and grinders and whatever out faster. It was definitely useful, at least I think so. But definitely did not use the barricades near the points. Normally what I would do is just set up a kill zone near the barricades near the points with lots of coin forges and whatever, lots of arrow walls, and just in that first wave of enemies have them destroy the lefternmost barricade, because that's what they actually go after. Once that's destroyed, all the enemies will funnel through there. I believe that's what I probably did on War Mage difficulty. But it just doesn't work on Nightmare because the par is too short. It's 12 minutes. Even having some enemies get past me, it really wasn't a problem. I easily made par. I think I had over a minute left. So, wasn't a big deal. You have quite a bit of breathing room using this strategy. It worked really well. And you notice that he was stunned perpetually by that firewall. I can get 2 of them off with the Mana Rage Trinket as well. I have it spec to give me increased base mana, which is really, really useful. I really like the Mana Rage Trinket quite a bit. One thing to worry about is just dying. I tried this once before, and I just died once accidentally. You need to be careful about setting up your brimstone traps when a wave is starting, because sappers all spawn generally at the beginning of a wave, especially the later waves. And if you're right next to the rifts, they'll just kill you instantly. So you do need to worry about that. But again, I'm just setting up these dummy walls just to ensure that they do not break through, which worked really well. I used Mana Rage also sometimes to spam grenades, I think, later on to finish off enemies. But that's basically the strategy. I didn't really make any good use of the mines hanging overhead. I kind of just triggered them on the last wave just to trigger them, but I didn't really kill much of the enemies, really. So didn't really rely on those, didn't really need those. Another thing you can do is you can double jump from a wall onto the tracks if you want to just rain down destruction on enemies for whatever reason. It also makes it easier to trigger the minecarts that go past and drop lava or whatever's inside of them. But you can't place archers up there. I tried that, it doesn't work. They're not allowed to be up there. So this is the point where they did get past me, but I wasn't too worried. It was kind of close. The biggest problem was just running out of mana and trying to use firewalls. And yeah, they do break through. But not too big of a deal. Take him out. The Blunderbuss does really poor damage against Earth Lords and Heavy Ogres. Even upgraded with the Bleed, didn't really do a good job. I could have definitely equipped the Hammer instead of arrow walls. I basically had a free slot using this strategy, so there's definitely other things I could have used to optimize it with that extra slot. Or even just Ice Magic, though I was already really strapped for mana, so that might not have really helped that much. We're on wave 7. There's just one more wave after this. And I'm expanding my Brimstone. I'm spreading it out farther to the right, farther to the left, because they do path all the way over there. It also helps kill the sappers instantly, so I don't really need to worry about them anymore. But I did want to maintain my walls just in case. I really didn't want to have that screw up on the last wave. It's really asinine when that happens. Null Hunters and Grenadiers were not a problem at all. They all died basically instantly to the Grinders and the Brimstone, so that really wasn't an issue, though you do need to kind of keep an eye on them just in case. They do a lot of damage, so you need to watch your health. It's really easy to die to them. Again, just play it kind of cautious when a wave is starting, just hang back a bit. And this would have actually been even easier if they had destroyed those 2 barricades that were left over, because it would have made them spread out more and use the other Grinders more and the other Brimstone pits, but they're all kind of funneling to the left. So it would have been even easier if they had done that. But it didn't really matter in the end. But if you wanted to increase your score, you could certainly try to get them to do that. Stand on it with a Grenadier throwing grenades at you, or just enemies attacking you or whatever. So I'm definitely sitting on a lot of money, and there wasn't a lot I could do with it. Set up a Grinder, might set up some more Brimstone traps, but I wanted to move back in case of sappers. There's also a lot of runners on this map, but if you have brimstone traps, they all die instantly. I was triggering that to attempt to kill the ogre, but he didn't actually go as far left as I thought he would, so that was basically totally useless. Kind of unfortunate. I do waste a good amount of time killing the last ogre, not this one, he dies easily enough. I'm saving my mana rage for the next group of elemental lords and the next ogre, triggering one of those minecart things, which actually do quite a bit of damage. But there's one ogre near the end that I was out of mana. My mana rage, I think, was on cooldown. And it took a little while. I lured him back into the brimstone trap, I believe. Do really need to be careful about the heavy ogres. They do a tremendous amount of damage and also stun you. They can kill you really quickly, so avoid them at all costs. Just kind of double jump around them. Triggering mana rage. Didn't really need to. I was kind of just spamming grenades, clearing up this wave. I should have probably waited. That was probably a mistake on my part. But again, stunning that ogre near grinders, perpetually stunning him with the firewalls, and a bunch of nulls and stuff just died. That ogre died, but we have one ogre left. And in a second I'm going to realize I need to just lure him back on the brimstone, so avoided his attack. This is about it, guys. This is Big Valleys. Lure him back onto the brimstone. Oh, yeah, right there, I thought somebody had gotten past me, so I was running backwards, but they were actually those two elemental little things, earthlings, I don't know what they were, or what they're called, but yeah, that's what that running around was. But yeah, Big Valleys, 5 skulls, not a problem, not really difficult, honestly, once you just kind of have a strategy down. It just took a while to make that strategy to figure it out. So thanks guys for watching, stay tuned for more. Please like the video if you liked it, please sub if you want to see more. Leave comments and feedback, ask questions, I'll answer them, I'll get back to you. Have a good one, guys.